Nazis vanished without a trace. Tell of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots. The maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come. And if I die here for the resistance, oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you?
Hello there, hello there, hello there, everybody. How the devil are we all? I'm very well, I thank you for asking. It's too hot. It's far too hot for this bullshit, frankly. But, on the upside, America did get knocked out, even though they cheated. Even though they cheated and the government got one of their best players reinstated when he shouldn't have been there, they still lost very badly. That is very funny. And having absolutely slaughtered Romelu Lukaku as fat, old and useless, he's since scored 2 goals. So I am very much what's the opposite of the kiss of life, I guess? I don't know. He's clearly a big fan of the show, listened in and was hurt by my words and has changed his ways. Is the world healing? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. If it just means that right-wingers stop pretending to care about football for the rest of eternity, I'm fine. But that's grand. Too hot for come out, you black and tans? Well, perhaps so. Thank you, Katie Marshall, for 22 months of membership. Much love to you. I'll turn the alert box on, even though it scared the shit out of me yesterday. Yes. soon as I clicked on it. Oh, lovely stuff. Thank you, Big Zebra, for subscribing. Much love to you, my friend. I would like to support England, but can't whilst it's being co-opted by the right. Well, that's... yeah, I get you. That's fine. Thank you for 30 months, Big Zebra. Or Big Zebra, if you're American, and thus incorrect in your pronunciation of that particular striped animal. Yes. Oh, it's so hot. It's honest to God, it's ridiculous. Time for Scrandle. Well, perhaps so. You've heard from sources that the Greens aren't standing. Oh, it was my understanding that the Greens are standing. Didn't Martin Ali come out and say they are putting up a candidate? Now, they might not take it very seriously, which is understandable because they have literally no chance of winning there. But because, just to put you in perspective, Clacton is the oldest, whitest, crustiest part of the country. I think it has something like 4 times the national rate of over 65s. Like, these are some old racist white people. Anyway, let us not dwell on that too much. Let me just say this. Fuck VAR, okay? Egypt were robbed today. Absolutely fucking robbed against Italy. Mo Salah was let down, disappointed, distraught. But Egypt had a good showing of themselves, but tis the way of things, unfortunately. No, Tengring Greens haven't decided yet. What does that mean? Argentina, Kev, not Italy. What? Did I say Italy? Sorry. Sorry, yeah. Egypt played well and showed a good side of themselves, but Argentina were pretty shit for the most part. For those who saw the game, the VAR thing was ridiculous. Like, how far back in a move do you go to pick up a tiny little foul? Like, it's just silly. It's very fucking silly. And we were robbed of one of the great World Cup moments because of it. But there we go. This World Cup has been very bipolar. Well, perhaps. It's the local Greens who decide. Oh, well, I guess so. They have a website. Who has a website? Everyone. Doesn't everyone have a website? Tengring is the area around Clacton. Tengring sounds ridiculous. Wasn't that the name of the guy who claimed Everest? No, that was Tenzing. What the fuck is 255? What is it? Clem H. Fandango, you cheese my fucking nut, my man. Question. You know when an abusive spouse threatens to leave in hope their partner will beg them to stay out of dependency. Is Farage doing the political equivalent of that? No, he is not, and I'll get onto that later. Have I seen the new Amber animations? I have not. Perhaps we could watch that as a well, I was about to say as a palate cleanser afterwards, and maybe it will be. I don't know. My queer new adult science fiction novel has a website. Well, plug that website, Vogel. Plug the shit out of that website. What is Aaron? No, animations, isn't it? It's not Aaron. Am I just misspeaking today, or are you taking the piss out of me? What the fuck is going on here? What is this madness? Oh, we're on a hype train, by the way. Oh, that's cool. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Fosmos, who gifted a sub.
Much love.
We're on a hype train. If we get to level 2 of the hype train, I will finger Nigel Farage's political career because I believe it to be dead. Yeah, that's right. That's my flaming hot take, is that I think Nigel Farage is politically dead. I think he just won't accept it yet. Is Ian Fleming a dickhead? I am thinking of reading the Bond books. Well, those two things are not necessarily connected.
The return of the sausages.
A person can be both a dickhead and a good writer. Many of them were. And indeed are. On a scale of 1 to 10, how funny would it be if Count Beanface beat Nigel Farage? It would be 69. On a scale of 1 to 10. That's how nice it would be. No, I don't mean that, Solly. No, I don't mean that. And if you want to carry on with that kind of chicanery, then you can cop a fucking perma. Sunshine. Anyway. The point being. Thank you, Swirly Curly, with 400 bitty bits. Yes, okay. He lost to a dolphin once. What's the dolphin? What? Who lost to a dolphin? Oh, I now want to know what human was competing against a dolphin, and in what competitive element was it? What was happening? Mitch McConnell, is he more dead than previously? I mean, we're all more dead than previously. That's how time works, unfortunately. We're all essentially sacks of meat that are rotting very slowly. Nigel Farage lost to a dolphin. Did he really? Oh, that's awesome. Fuck yes. I don't remember that, but that's cool. Anyway. And John Burko, of course, yeah. Who is not actually a poor sign of any nature, as far as I'm aware. Well, apparently he did lose to a dolphin. Should we... hang on, yeah. Farage loses to not Todd Dolphin. I don't know who Todd Dolphin is. From 2010. Oh shit, what am I doing? Yes, accept all fucking adverts or whatever. UKIP's Nigel Farage finishes behind Burko and Independent. Farage wanted to overcome the Speaker, who had enraged the electorate by flipping his second home, but in the end, he himself was flipped by a candidate championed by a dolphin. On the campaign trail a few weeks ago, I watched Nigel Farage give a TV interview in Buckingham Pub. He was saying he wanted to send an earthquake through British politics. Where's the dolphin bit? Just tell me about the dolphin. Here we go, right. As the returning officer brought the candidates to the stage, the result was foregone conclusion. Burko was defending a majority of over 18,000. The constituency is overwhelmingly Tory. He was returned with a reduced but still unassailable majority of 12,529. John Stevens and Flipper came second with 10,331 votes. Ahead of Nigel Farage on 8,401. The BNP vote was outstripped by the number of spoiled ballots. That's even better. I love it. Oh, the fash getting slapped down left and right. How'd you lose to spoiled ballots? What the fuck? That's genius. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Thank you everyone for the hype train. Right. Let's dig into this. Right. So, I'll be honest with you, chat. I have pre-watched. Because it was in the news. So, like, it was sort of unavoidable, really. Nigel Farage put out a tweet saying that he was going to make an announcement at 2 PM, no less. Of what we did not know. I was hoping it was going to be an on-air Switzerlanding, if you get what I mean. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Why can I not get my fucking local disc? There we go. Jesus Christ. Why is it changed location? Why do things do this, chat? Why do they do it? Oh, it's not even doing. I can't even get my fucking noise alerts up now. Well, that is most infuriating. Would it help if I plugged it in? Probably. Let's do that then. Get ready for the bibbidi bobs. Not the leader of the opposition. There we go. Okay. Is it going to do it? At all? I swear to God, if this doesn't work, I'm going to actually kill all of the people on Earth. I swear to God. Do not fucking test me, you cunts. Why is it do? Why is life just pain and suffering, chat? Why? Restore. Nope. No, it just doesn't want to do it. Okay, well. Death to America. Fantastic. Who's potentially facing prison time? To whom are you referring? It sounds like a vacuum cleaner. No, that's my fan. It's quite loud, isn't it? When I bring it right up to the microphone. But it's too hot, chat. I can't not have the fan on. Even with the window open and fucking virtually no clothes on, I am sweating like a fucking pig. Do pigs even sweat? I presume they do. It's a saying, isn't it? I did just blow you. Yes. Anyway, right. Nigel Farage put out a tweet saying that he was going to do a little speechy speech. He was announcing something. I thought it was going to be, let's say, on-air seppuku. That would have been very funny to me. But unfortunately, it was not that. Instead, it was a rather stupid, self-absorbed, pitiable, and self-pitying speech with an announcement at the end. Shall we take a look?
2 years ago, after several years out of politics, I decided to return to the front line. I have to say, there was some reluctance, and initially I'd thought when Rishi Sunak called...
It's so funny that he says front line as if he would ever actually serve in the military. Like, shut the fuck up, dude.
called a snap election, that it would be beyond me. But I did it, and I was very, very proud. That evening, going into the morning of July the 5th, 2024, to be the elected member for Clacton-on-Sea. I was very proud of that evening, and I have to say the last 2 years I've really enjoyed the job of being an MP.
How would you know? You haven't done it. You literally haven't had a single fucking MP surgery in the constituency. You've barely been there. You've been to America more fucking times. Like, you go there so rarely that on the odd occasion you do pop in, you literally announce it. You literally have to take a photo of yourself saying, look, I'm in Clacton, because people wouldn't believe you otherwise. You haven't been an MP. You don't show up in Parliament either, except when the cameras are like going to be filming you for Prime Minister's questions or something. You haven't been an MP. You've taken the fucking salary, but you haven't done the job.
The people, the constituency, it's an office that I genuinely adore. I couldn't have believed that night that we'd have rocketed to the top of the opinion polls, and now we've been number one for the last 350 opinion polls in a row.
By the way, that's not really true anymore. Labour have been in the lead for a couple recently. They've had a bit of a kind of pre-Burnham bounce, so to speak.
With big leads. We've also built the biggest membership of any political party in the country. And of course, on May the 7th, just gone, we achieved some huge successes in the local elections. Not only did we achieve breakthroughs in Scotland and in Wales, but we absolutely...
You didn't really make as much of a breakthrough in Scotland, but okay.
He dominated in the Midlands and the North, the old Labour heartlands, and that is why Keir Starmer is now on his way out. Not to forget that in East...
Well, no, that's because the Green Party, like, the Green Party are the ones that took votes from Labour, not Reform. So, you know.
Anglia, the Conservatives have now, by us, been reduced to nothing more than a rump. It seems to me...
He did just say the word rump, and that is funny to me.
...that the establishment have now decided that they can't beat us fairly, so they've chosen to use foul means.
Oh no! They're reporting the evil, corrupt things I have done. They are bad.
You fucking bitch. You bitch. You loser. It's fucking embarrassing. Like, and you can tell how much of a fucking child he is, because he's been getting worse over the last couple of years. Look, he's gotten high on having decades of the media not actually scrutinising him at all, in any fucking way. And now he gets the slightest bit of scrutiny of his naked and obvious corruption, and he's gotten so angry and upset about it. It's fantastic. He's the most... Honestly, he's more thin-skinned than Trump, I think.
Let me be absolutely clear. After the furore and the media pile-on, well, not just the media, the other political parties too. Let me be absolutely...
Oh, no! Other political parties have also criticised you. It's not like that's what politics sort of is, mate. Yeah. Yeah, political parties exist, and they oppose one another. That's sort of a part of it, really.
Absolutely clear. I have done nothing wrong.
Incorrect. You may not have done anything illegal. That is yet to be seen. But you've definitely done shit that's wrong. Like, on any number of moral levels. Taking millions of pounds for unbeknownst reasons from a man convicted of money laundering on behalf of people he thought were drug dealers and drug smugglers. I'd say that's bad, actually. I'd say that's bad. Pretty fucking bad. I'd say taking millions of pounds from a tax exile crypto billionaire and then changing your crypto policy to be very, very pro-crypto in a way that suggests a quid pro quo is morally wrong. Again, it might not technically be illegal because, again, in Britain, we don't call it corruption, we call it lobbying, we call it political donations. We're just using there's a different terminology for it. If you don't call it corruption, it doesn't count. In order to be real corruption, it has to come from the corruptia region of Italy. Otherwise, it's just sparkling embezzlement. You know?
I have not broken the law in any way at all. I have not misused public money. And you know...
No, but you may have misused private money, and that's still misuse.
For the first 2 years of being an MP, my personal MP expenses are zero. Not, of course, that you'll read about that in...
You've received millions and millions and millions of pounds. It should be fucking zero. It should be zero. And by the way, that freeze frame makes him look like Beaker from the Muppets. Me 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 me.
mainstream media. And yes, of course, Parliament has its rules about how members ought to behave. And I believe I've absolutely obeyed those rules and done so under getting good legal advice.
By the way, he's definitely called this because he knows he's about to lose that investigation. He's about to lose that investigation. He knows that. This is to knock all of that out of the paper headlines, pretty much. What is this? You fucking knobs. You people are incorrigible delinquents. Facts. Three of those people on screen are mass murderers. Can you guess who?
The standard rules are clear. This is what they say. The code applies to members in all aspects of their public life. It does not seek to regulate what members do in their purely personal lives.
Okay, but this isn't a personal matter, is it? Because you were apparently given this money because it was a gift for having done Brexit. So that's political, isn't it? That's not a personal matter. Yeah.
Now, it would seem from the last couple of years, from the way I've been treated, that the press would rather our members of Parliament had no assets and no wealth at all.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fine.
They seem to fundamentally object to any MP that has outside income.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You literally should not have outside income. Second jobs are an obviously morally and politically, ethically compromising thing. If you can't, for £90,000 a year, significantly above the national income, if you can't devote yourself to that one job, you shouldn't have that job. Like, leave. If it's not enough money for you, you have to leave. You can't be you can't be a member of the fucking mother of all parliaments as a side hustle. I don't care if you think you're on your Sigma grind set, cunt. Do your fucking job.
Indeed, they view those that have continuing business interests with severe scepticism.
Yes, because it's an obvious fucking conflict of interest. In the same way that I don't think you should be allowed to be a landlord, full stop, but especially you shouldn't be allowed to be a landlord if you're a member of Parliament. Because when it comes to voting about, say, I don't know, tenants' rights issues, you may not necessarily have the public's best interests at heart, and you may be looking after your own financial interests. Call me cray-cray.
Making money is not a crime.
Should be.
Now, going back to the 90s,
I did do communism after all.
was in the commodity markets.
Sometimes
I had a
maybe
very,
good,
very
sometimes maybe shit.
Okay, well, yeah, that's... yes, right. Thank you to... Adam Gordon. And I'm purposely mispronouncing that because I'm a silly boy. For 5 gifties and being a member yourself. Much love. Fuck me, that went on a lot longer than I thought I could. Thank you, Dr. Phil Decker, with 100 bitty bits as well. I won't repeat that because my voice will actually collapse. It will literally do that. Thank you, Nick the Peasant, for becoming a member as well. Or for remaining a member. 16 months, God bless you.
Good, high-earning career. I gave that up at a huge cost, being a member of the European Parliament for
Well, clearly not, because you've raked in millions and millions and millions. So clearly you didn't give it up, did you? You found a better, corrupt way of making money. As opposed to the normal corrupt way. The normal corrupt way that you were usually doing it, which was as a commodities broker. Because you're not a businessman. You were never a businessman. You're a shitheel middleman making money off other people. You have a beautiful voice, Kevin. You are incorrect, but thank you.
20 years cost me a huge amount of money, but I did
No, it didn't. It made you millions. It's been very, very profitable for you.
it because I had a goal. I had a goal and a belief that we should leave the European Union, get back to being a self-regulating nation that
Which we always were.
makes its own laws, charts its own destiny, and among other things, of course, controls its own borders. We might
We always did.
not yet, 10 years on, have reaped as many of the benefits as we ought.
It's such cope. Oh my god, that's such cope. We may not have reaped as many of the benefits as we should, is a very, very generous way of saying, yes, I know Brexit has been a complete fucking catastrophe, but trust me, it'll be better in the future because reasons. The snake oil salesman knows only one thing. How to sell snake oil.
But one day, I believe we will. And let's be frank, if I hadn't done what I'd
Oh, well, if you believe it, then it must be true.
done, there would have been no referendum, there would have been no Brexit. I came out at the end of that with very,
Yeah, you are to blame. That is true, yes.
very little money indeed. But over the last 10 years,
Wah, wah. I don't care. I mean, you know what? I'm going to turn your Tory bullshit back on you. Why didn't you lace up your bootstraps, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get on your bike and look for work? You lazy layabout piece of shit. You just want to be handed millions of pounds by British people, be it the public or private financiers. Layabout. Work shy scum.
I've been writing, I've been lecturing, I've been broadcasting, I've been investing. I promoted 1 or 2 financial products, and for those
Scammy, scammy, scams.
that followed me into them, they've more than doubled their money, which I'm pleased about. I also worked extensively in those years of 2021 to 2024 as an influencer with over 7 million followers on social media.
You did indeed take money to promote groups that are officially recognised as terrorists by the British government. Interesting that the two-tier policing is that if you oppose genocide, you will be arrested as a terrorist. If you literally say, up the Ra, as in, yes, the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, are good and I support them, which is what he was essentially saying, for money, you don't get arrested. Intriguing. Shall we see what great contributions Mr. Farage made in his life as an influencer? Shall we?
Happy Pog Day to my favourite Valorant gamers. A reminder, show the sus simps and incels among us how to date girls and not be big cringe imposter chungus. She made beans, she do be eating them though. Sheesh. Hi Harv, you're turning 18
Jesus
and
Christ.
many happy returns of the day. Well, you're a grown up now. You're able to vote. You can vote UKIP. You can vote Reform. You can vote for the Labour Party if you want to. I mean, hey, it's a free country. It's entirely up to you. I tell you what, though, Harv, it's a much freer country now we're outside the European Union and proud and free, and that's fantastic. So, birthday wishes come from your friends, Nick and Kerr, and from Uncle.
Oh, for God's sake! Nigel, do you read any of these scripts?
Peter and Harv. They come from me too. Have a great birthday. Reed, it's going to be your birthday very, very soon, and I'm to tell you to use your swaths techers against Pat Keys and delivering a brick.
Oh, for fuck's... This is what he was boasting about. I've been an influencer. Look at me saying racial slurs for money.
Boot if needs be, and to play Mo Lester in.
Mo Lester. He fell for Mo Lester. What next? D's nuts? Do you like Imagine Dragons? Imagine dragging D's nuts all over your face?
Pro clubs. And this comes with kind regards from Liam. Ben, hope you have a really fantastic birthday. This is for Catherine, and it's booked by Big Chungus. I know that Bussy be so talented. It's doing cartwheels, but I don't care.
He could be the first Prime Minister to ever say, Bussy be so talented it's doing cartwheels. Could be. We don't know. We don't have audio recording of all previous Prime Ministers. And honestly, I think Ramsay MacDonald used to throw it back. Just saying, the boy was caked up. Terrible Prime Minister, fat ass.
An update for the group. Crisis in Plotland. Ramona Big Chungus has launched.
This is what he's boasting about. Crisis in Plopland. Crisis in Plopland.
Crisis in Plopland.
So yes, over the last 10 years, I have financially done well. But that of itself should not be looked upon as a crime. And yes...
No, but taking money from criminals is bad. Like, I don't even care, particularly if you've broken the law. If you have, you should go to jail. And I hope you do. It would be very, very funny. But it sort of doesn't matter whether you've broken the law or not. You're unfit to be Prime Minister. Please exit stage right, pursued by several bears. Crisis in Ploppy Land. Fuck yes.
I had the equivalent of a lottery win. A large personal gift. And I'll come to that and the details of that in just a second. The really big question that I want to pose is, do we want leaders that know how to make money? Do we want leaders that have run businesses, employed people, and understand how the world works?
Well, considering every single one of these pricks is like, oh, we need to run the country like a business. Maybe not, no, because actually that hasn't worked. That hasn't been a good thing. Maybe we need fewer capitalist shithouses and more, I don't know, people who give a fuck about the population of the country or the world. Perhaps Nigel Farage, who I think is just some sort of French bloke. I don't know who he is. But yeah.
Well, I'm going to argue today, we absolutely need successful people from all walks of life, but particularly from business and industry. We need them not just in Parliament, we need them in government.
We need fewer and fewer of those people, actually. Like, we need fewer of them. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but like, not the current Prime Minister, but the one before was the richest Prime Minister we've ever had. He made his money in business, didn't he? And he was fucking shit. So maybe, just maybe, business leaders aren't the answer. Nigel.
If we're even going to have half a chance of turning around the dire economic state this country now finds itself in. Contrast that with a cabinet, 24 men and women, not one of whom has any serious experience of private business, who frankly haven't got a clue. So don't be surprised that in economic terms we are going down the drain.
You're just full of shit, mate. Like, I have criticised the Labour government and will continue to do so. Regular viewers of this channel know I am, to put it mildly, not a fan of this government. But the one thing you do have to say is that the economy is performing reasonably well, actually. It's not booming by any means, but nowhere is. But it's doing pretty well. If there is one minor success that Keir Starmer can point to, is that the economy is alright, I guess. Like, it's fine. Not good, not terrible. Not a disaster. 3.6 Rontgen, if you get that particular reference point.
Now, Standards investigating me over the gift has now reared its head again.
Yes, because you've taken lots of money and not declared it, which is against the rules. So the Parliamentary Standards Committee are going to investigate that. And he knows they're going to find him guilty, which is why he's doing this, to avoid, I don't know, having that as the story. He's essentially trying to regain the initiative of the national discourse. Could I remind everyone of the Chartists? Oh, the Chartists were a great movement. Actually, we should do a deep dive one of the nights into the Chartists, because they're not really a group I talk about that much on the channel, but they are a great example of a social movement in British history which, whilst not necessarily achieving all of their goals, certainly the case within their lifetime, had a real lasting positive impact on British political existence. Like, we would not be the even remotely free country we are today without them. And they get kind of whitewashed out of history, really. Yeah.
As a result of a lot of copy in this week's Sunday Times, incidentally, written by a journalist who publicly says that he despises me.
So? Literally, so what? Okay, like, he might not have framed it in a nice way, but also, like, if the cap fits, mate. It, like, literally, also his mouth looks a little bit like a pussy right now, but on its side and hairless. Anyway, everything reminds me of her. Anyway, shout out to the diggers and levelers as well. True, yeah. It's actually a fascinating period in British history which kind of gets overlooked. What was I going to say? Hang on a second. I've forgotten because I've got distracted by the Chartists.
As a result of a lot of copy in this week's Sunday...
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter if the journalist hates you if the facts in the story are true. And so far you've just gone, well, the facts are true, but it doesn't matter because it's a free gift and blah, blah, blah. But you still took the money. You still took all of that money from the evil people who did evil things, yeah? Okay, well, get in the bin then, I guess?
Times, incidentally, written by a journalist who publicly says that he despises me. And despite the fact that many of the things that were written in the article were wholly inaccurate or indeed irrelevant, yet another Standards investigation is underway. Standards are now being used as a political tool.
No, you're being investigated for doing crimes, or at least crimes against the rules rather than necessarily legal crimes. Again, for legal reasons, I will say he has not been convicted of anything. And the police are pathetic when it comes to, arresting rich white men. Because again, there is two-tier policing, just the exact opposite way round that Nigel describes it.
On the gift, it was given to me on an unconditional basis. I can do with...
It's fine. Look, he doesn't seem to realise that this doesn't play well with the voters that he wants to attract, right? Just saying, well, he gave me the money and I can do what the fuck I like with it. It's none of your business, bitches. It is not really a good answer, actually.
With that money exactly as I wish.
Because you're not in a court of law right now, Nigel. You are in the court of public opinion. Something you should know about, because you've been skillfully manipulating that same court for 30 years. But now it's turned against you. And you don't like it, do you, Nige? Oh no, now we have to go by the official lettering of each and every rule. No, you shut the fuck up, dude.
But there is a much bigger reason why I'm going to need that money. And it's simply this.
My coke habit is extraordinary. I snort half of Colombia every week. So I'm going to need lots of money to keep up with my Chaz payments. You know what I'm saying? Because dealers will break your fucking legs if you don't pay. So, you know. For legal reasons, this is satire, this is a joke. I'm not suggesting that Nigel Farage has ever engaged in the consumption of any Class A substances.
For over 20 years now, I have been subject to constant demonisation by the press. For
Wow, like you've done to migrants. Cool.
daring to be outside the consensual view on many issues.
Consensual view? Wow, he really is embracing Trump. I think you mean consensus. Don't you, Nigel?
I've been attacked again and again. And I am the most physically and verbally attacked public figure or politician of modern times.
He says it again. What an absolute piece of trash this man is. 2. Repeat them. 2 members of Parliament in recent times have been murdered. 1, interestingly, little timeline for you here. The first of which was, of course, Jo Cox, former MP of Batley and Spen. She was murdered by a Nigel Farage supporter. Not on the say-so of Nigel Farage, of course, but she was murdered by a fascist shouting Britain first on the same day as Nigel Farage released his infamous Breaking Point poster during the Brexit campaign. Do you remember that? Do you remember Breaking Point? The image where Nigel Farage literally aped Nazi propaganda? Do you remember this? Can you not just show me the fucking thing? Jesus Christ, right. There we go. There we go. Breaking Point. And it's a snaking line of migrants, which is literally eerily similar to an exact shot in terms of the framing of it and everything from a Lenny Riefenstahl movie called The Eternal Jew. Literally a Nazi propaganda movie about how Jews were flooding into the country and making it unsafe for everybody. He's literally doing that. And then an MP was murdered by one of his supporters that day. So in terms of you being demonised, Nigel, I would argue you should be demonised because you are a demon. Thank you, Fuzmos, who says, Hannah Spencer said on Newsnight the Greens are not standing a candidate in Clacton. Oh, she was on Newsnight. Okay, we'll take a look at that after this then.
Yes, you will know of some of the incidents. Milkshakes thrown in my face, placards.
Oh no! So much for the lactose tolerant left. You fucking prick. Look, literally leading off with the most just milk toast. Ironically, milk toast. Although it's spelled with a Q-U-E because French or some shit. With the most like pathetic nothing burger. Oh no! Someone threw a milk beverage over me. It was mildly inconvenient. Who cares? Bitch! 2 MPs were fucking murdered. Literally, they were alive and then someone did something which directly led to them being dead. Because they were members of parliament. And you're like,
oh, they threw a milkshake on me. How will I ever survive?
I don't know why I do that voice for him. It sounds fucking nothing like him. But it does sound adequately demeaning. So, you know. Like, he's not even going to lead off with some bullshit. He's going to be like, no, they threw milkshake at me. Oh, I'm sorry, but I can't really, can't really get too worked up about that over the crying of Joe Cox's widower. Sorry about that, Nige. You could say that my empathy has reached a breaking point with your whinging. Yeah? Okay, cool.
Bashed over my head, but let me promise you, you only know about a fraction of the number of times that I've been assaulted.
Get ready for some absolute bullshit. Let's go.
One little example you've probably never heard of. It was a Sunday afternoon a few years ago in the local village pub. In come the mob, about 50 of them. We decided the safest thing to do was as quickly as possible to get into the car and to drive away. But the mob surrounded the car, banging on the bonnet and the windscreen, kicking the side of the doors. It was a genuinely dangerous and terrifying situation to be in. The car was written off. I didn't even bother with an insurance claim and did everything I could not to make it public.
Of all of the things that never happened, this is the one that happened not the most. So, notice the absolute lack of any description of the actual event. There was no place mentioned, just the village pub. What, the village where you live, or just a random village? Who knows? Doesn't say who he was with. Doesn't say who the mob were, it's just the mob. Turned up, they battered his car to the point where it was a write-off. But interestingly, he didn't put in an insurance claim, even though it would be presumably very, very easy to prove that it was not you who damaged the car. Nigel, you just made that up. This didn't happen. Like, Nigel, you're literally in a speech where you are playing the victim, telling us that something really bad happened to you and you never mentioned it because you don't like playing the victim, whilst you're playing the victim. This is bullshit. I'm calling it now. This is absolute fucking bullshit. If this had happened, you'd have been literally making a fucking full-scale documentary about the harrowing experience you had. But you didn't. Just like you didn't put in the insurance claim because this thing didn't happen. You're a bullshitter, mate. And not a very good one at that.
But these are the kind of things that I've had to put up with over many, many years.
They do exist. They're just off camera, but they definitely do exist. Honest.
And over the last year it's got worse, with an attack on my home, very similar to the one that the Prime Minister suffered. And
what, you're not playing your Ukrainian rent boys either? Nige, I didn't know you had it in you, son. There you go, chat. Confirmed. Nigel Farage. It's not Pride Month anymore, but he just came out. He loves Ukrainian cock. No wonder he hated Brexit, because the EU wouldn't allow Ukraine in, so he could have freedom of access to Ukrainian dick. It's a disgrace. That's where he calls his arsehole the Schengen zone, because Ukrainians can come in and out as they like. Oh, I enjoyed that one particularly. I shouldn't be very proud about that. I am extraordinarily proud of that. I just thought that one off the dome. That was a moment's inspiration. Oh, sorry. No, right.
Literally daily online calls for me to be murdered. For some reason, that doesn't seem to worry the police.
I mean, you should give examples of this having happened, because I don't really see that. I don't know.
Repeatedly over the years, I asked the Home Secretary for help. I was rejected again and again.
Loser. Al's in chat. Both Labour and Tory Home Secretaries went, nah, bruv. Fucking do one, son. Presumably in those exact words. You know. What is this? What is that? I can't really tell what that is. Is he in that car? I don't know. There was an incident in 2015. London protesters chase leader out of pub. Oh, so not a village pub then, if it's in fucking London, surely. Anti-UKIP protesters in the Queen's Head. Oh, this was during the Thanet thing in Kent, okay. Well, they definitely didn't write the car off, because it's right there, look. So at the very least, that part of the story is bullshit. And it could be that he's talking about something completely different. But this is the violent mob, one of which is dressed up as a car, I think? And one is dressed as a banana? Oh, you know, this is definitely like the evil left. Like, fucking do one, son.
And in that period, when I wasn't in elected politics, between 2021 and 2024, I ran up personally very, very substantial bills to make...
Wow, you should be better at running your finances as a businessman. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed the controls of the British government, considering you're so bad with money. Perhaps.
Sure that I was safe. When I became an MP, Parliament said, yes, we will help you with security. But almost unbelievably, just a couple of days after the murder of Charlie Kirk,
oh, God. Thank you for reminding me about that. That is very funny. Yeah. Humorous. Imagine, Nigel, if you will, a political party that had previously called for the liberalisation of gun rules so that we had a gun culture much more like America. Like when you were UKIP leader and you wanted to repeal all banning of handguns. Do you remember that, Nigel? Yeah. It's a real pain in the neck, isn't it?
70% of that security funding was withdrawn.
True, but Erica Kirk had a great time, so I think that's the important thing.
I am going to need security for the rest of my life, and I can't...
Well, hopefully that's not very long then.
cannot even tell you how grateful I am to Christopher Harborne, because now I will never ever need to worry about whether I've got the resource.
Well, hang on a minute, was it him or the guy that was arrested in America for laundering money for drug dealers? Or was it the Iranian, Uzbeki, or Kazakh? I can't remember. British nationalist who also gave you money. Which one of these people is paying for your security exactly? Because you can't keep your story straight. Nige.
Well, the new attack from the media is that somehow I am a crook. I am dishonest. Yes.
Clip it. Clip it. I'm going to play it again, chat. Clip it.
Well, the new attack from the media is that somehow I am a crook. I am dishonest. Yes, another.
There it is. From the frog's mouth.
The reason to hate me. Commentators over the weekend have said, oh, look at the interviews Nigel's doing. He's not himself. He's getting angry. Well, here's why. For some reason last week, the editor of the Times newspaper decided to publish a picture of where my daughter lives. There is no public interest in my daughter whatsoever. She is not involved in current affairs, doesn't seek to be involved in current affairs, and has never been used by me once at any point in my political career. No photographs on election addresses or anything like that. I've always done my absolute best to protect the privacy and safety of my family. By publishing that photograph, the editor of the Times has...
Now, he is, of course, correct. There is no public interest in his daughter. He's never used his family as like a thing in his political life. And so what I think is wrong to go after his family. I think that is morally bankrupt on behalf of the media. What I will say, though, Nigel, you have inspired over the last couple of years several race riots and at least one pogrom against migrant communities. So forgive me if I don't cry salt tears for you that your family's privacy has been invaded when you were perfectly happy to sit back and watch as potentially millions of other people's houses, property, families were attacked and potentially killed by mobs that you brought into being. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, some might say. I, of course, would not say that. But some might suggest that is true.
Directly threatened her security. I wonder what happened to the Leveson inquiry of years ago, an inquiry that sought to bring better balance between what the press could...
It was ditched by the Conservative Party. You know, that party that you used to be in, Nigel. Do you remember that? Okay. Cool.
Do, and families of those in public life. Worse still, she now has broadcasters haranguing her. Sky News were one of them, and when I questioned them on it, they willfully and deliberately lied and said on their channel that they hadn't contacted the family. Well, let me be clear. I will not tolerate intimidation of my family. I will not tolerate the location of where they live being revealed.
God almighty, you're so fucking soy, mate. You're a really shit actor.
I will not tolerate my family being attacked like this.
Okay. Like, you being angry is just funny to me, Nigel. You deserve to be angry. Nothing you want should exist.
I will not tolerate any of my family being endangered because of what I choose to do in public life. So yes, you can ask, am I angry? But I've never been angrier in my life.
I genuinely wonder, to the Americans watching this, does this come across as weirdly shit and British as it seems? Like, because obviously Keir Starmer comes across as like a weird little briefcase freak, and everyone can see that. But like, there are certain people in America who seem to have some kind of respect for or think that Nigel Farage is a political savant of some kind. Does this seem as soy and shit as it comes across to me? He sounds like your average whiny conservative. Well, that's basically what he is. That's what he's tapped into for 20 years. True, he is being quite woke right now. That is true.
I'm also pretty upset.
Because, look, the real conservative view on this is the only privacy women should have is the privacy inside a burqa. Right? Anything else, any other public display from a woman in any way whatsoever, is woke. This is true. Just saying.
With the behaviour of this Labour government. They began in 2025 and then tried again into 2026 to cancel elections for taxpayers, and to do so on a vast and epic scale, albeit with the connivance of the Conservative Party. Why? Well, of course, fear of reform. I'm proud of the fact that we fought a legal action that got nearly 5 million council tax voters the right to go out.
Like, it's so annoying. Keir Starmer is such a shithouse authoritarian that he made the fascist look like the one who supported democracy. An absolutely unforgivable sin from Sir Keith Casey
on May the 7th and give their view. Now, of course, they want to reduce the voting age down to 16. Again, they think...
Okay, but that's extending democracy, Nigel?
That will help damage reform. And just a couple of...
Well, no, it's because they think young people will vote for them, but I mean, they're wrong about that.
Weeks ago, following the Makerfield by-election, they changed the voting rules for the Manchester mayoral by-election. They've gone away from first...
Yeah, to the system they had before the Tories tried to fuck it up, yeah.
Past the post, again, for fear that reform might win. And now they've come after our money. Now, to be clear, in the early days after the last general...
It's not your money, is it? It's Christopher Harborne's money.
...election, it was the huge increase in our membership at £25 a time that actually got us into a position where we could build a proper party. Over the last year, some big donors have been attracted to us. Extraordinary. These are men who've gone off as entrepreneurs around the world and succeeded. The sort of people we used to admire over centuries.
Okay, dude. You're literally now arguing that we should allow foreigners to put money into our legal system or into our political system? You do realise that you, the strong borders, no foreign influence guy, that guy, wants foreign money to be sloshing about in British politics. You do realise how bad that looks for you, right? Because you might not believe anything, really, but your voters do believe things, and they don't want foreigners putting money into British elections. Nigel.
Now government ministers refer to them in Parliament as malign actors.
Because they are.
And so they keep changing all the rules again and again just to stop reform.
Well, no, to stop most foreign influence. Israel's fine. Israel can do what they like. But most foreign influence in British politics, yeah.
It is like living in a communist country. I could never...
Oh, god damn it! This is where I needed my fucking soundboard. Imagine the Soviet anthem playing right now. It would have been hilarious. God damn it. The one time I needed you.
Never believed such a thing would happen here. Ignore the fact, of course, that over decades peerages have been given to donors, and that Labour's donors, in the run-up to the 2024 general election, now seem to have been awarded the most extraordinary government contracts.
Yeah, they're all thick as thieves, but Nigel, you do realise that this just makes you a part of the uniparty. You're just the third cheek of the ass. You're no different to them, you're just them. You're just more overtly racist, briefcase boy. That's it.
Perhaps Dominic Cummings was right last year when he said Whitehall will break the law to stop Reform winning power. And we've been subject in the last few months to the use of illegally obtained information, firm evidence of computer hacking, and now leaks from government agencies. And this is all, of course, a great distraction, because we're about to get a Prime Minister who's coming in with no mandate whatsoever. He didn't even stand on the 2024 manifesto. This country...
That is how it works, Nigel. We live in a parliamentary democracy. Also, sort your fucking teeth out, mate. I know you don't like foreigners, but Turkey's a flight away. Come on now.
Needs a general election, even if Labour, the Conservatives and the media don't want it. And whilst this pile
You're not going to get it, Nigel. You know that, right?
on against Reform happens, the boats...
Oh, the boats. Also, him wearing a pink shirt, is that woke? I feel like that might be woke. Is this the gay agenda? Is he capitulating to sodomy? Britannia has fallen to bum sex. You know what? Well done to bum sex. Goes on to play France in the semi-finals now. Good luck.
continue to cross the English Channel. Our fractured defences make us look weaker and weaker against what I think...
Oh, the small boats.
Honestly, there's nothing more pathetic than whinging pricks going on about small boats. Like, that's the big problem, is it? Fucking hell.
...is now an increasingly dangerous Vladimir Putin.
The guy that you said you respected more than any other political leader, that guy, Nige? Yeah, okay.
Business confidence is the lowest it's now been for 16 years, and I speak to you from a capital city where men can't wear watches and women can't wear jewellery.
Honestly, they just make shit up, don't they? Like fucking Zia Yusuf goes out and says, oh, air conditioning is illegal. What? You can't wear a watch in... Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Like, do crimes happen? Sure. But crime has been decreasing in London year on year for ages. With a blip for COVID, because everything blipped during COVID. The numbers are crazy bad. But yeah, like the... What are you talking about? You just make nonsense up. The RNLI liked a comment of mine earlier. Oh, that's fucking dope. Everyone go and support the RNLI. They're saving lives when the British government won't. Who says you can't wear watches in London? Racists. Racists who want to believe that the Muslimic in charge of London, known as Sadiq bin Laden, is making it a crime spree. You know, it's legal to do crimes in London if you're brown. In fact, that's two-tier policing. If you're white, you get arrested for being white. If you're brown, you get to just steal people's watches, which is why you can't wear a watch in London. Fact. This is the kind of mental, like, game these dickheads play with each other. Just make up any old shit. Who can make up the most whack, obviously nonsense thing? Unbelievable.
On the street. Britain is broken and the public know it, and we need change. Now, the issue with my daughter was the final straw. Enough is enough. And I thought over the weekend, what shall I do? I could go out.
Could go to Switzerland. You could go to Switzerland, Nige. It's not in the EU.
Out and try and make some real big money. I could go to the USA, where I've got plenty of offers. And then I thought,
But that would be even more dangerous, because that's where Charlie Kirk got Charlie Kirked. Surely you wouldn't go to America with all of that fucking gun crime, Nigel. Because they don't just throw milkshakes at people. They don't JF Kirk. Jesus Christ, okay. Okay. Stick your neck out on the US tour. Don't forget to get your booster shot. Charlie Kirk did.
why should I be judged, today or in history in the future, by Sky News and their ilk? Why should they be the people that decide my fate?
It's so funny to me. He's so annoyed that the Rupert Murdoch media, the Murdoch media, have now turned against him. They're now doing the thing they've done to everybody else. Drip feeding the shit they already had and could have published years and years and years and years and years ago, and decided, yeah, don't need to bother. Posh Bird is live. Oh, that's probably why no one is going to watch me now then. My numbers, like the crime numbers in London, are going to go down.
When, as I repeat, I've done nothing wrong. I've thought about it hard.
No, again, you have done lots of things wrong.
And I've decided today.
Like that shirt. It's wokery.
Today I will resign as a member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea.
How would the people of Clacton even know? How would they know the difference? Now, you know what? We've got to do it. We've got to have a cheeky little fucking... cheeky little go. I've played it so much, I even know when it starts. Come on now. Get your claws in the air. Shabba. You get the idea. Shabba. Oh. Kevin, why didn't you play the crab dance for Humphrey Smith? Do I know who the fuck Humphrey Smith is? Hang on. Humphrey Smith, eccentric brewery owner from Tadcaster, North Yorkshire. Do I know who he is? I have no idea who this cunt is. The owner of Samuel Smith's brewing and pub business. Never heard of him. Is he a cunt? And is he dead? Okay. He was a twat. Well, at least he's dead then. That's cool. I like it when bad people die even if I didn't know they existed in the first place. So it's all good.
Thereby forcing a by-election, which would happen, I hope, in short order. No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions.
Why? That's not how that works. Like there are literally like systems in place, both legal and parliamentary. Why should the crustiest, oldest, whitest cunts in the country decide your fate? And by the way, like, he's going to lose this election, right? They do realise this, yeah? Like, I know he thinks he's being really smart here, and like regaining the initiative, and it allows him to go into campaign mode, which is the only kind of thing he likes. But Restore UK are going to pour everything into this, and they've got the richest man on earth. They've got his billions backing them. They're going to pour, because if there's one thing that Rupert Lowe wants to do, it's destroy Nigel Farage. Even more than like destroying the lives of migrants or whatever, which he also wants to do, of course. The Restore leader wants to destroy Reform UK for kicking him out. Restore are not even standing. What? Why are they not contesting? They have a decent chance of winning. Neither of the two. Hang on, so no one's standing. So it's just going to be him and Binface. Oh my god, that's amazing. So has there for once been a what do they call it? The oh, for fuck's sake, the I forget what the French phrase they have for it, where all of the major parties combine together to like not support the fascists or whatever. So they're not taking. So none of the major parties are standing. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's fucking great. Cordon sanitaire. Thank you. There we go. Yeah. So they're doing a cordon sanitaire and saying we're not taking part in this weirdo fascist nonsense. Oh, has Binface definitely said he's standing? I do hope so. That would be amazing. Has Binface definitely said? Look, I know it's short order, but Binface usually is up to. Oh yes, go on, Binface lad. Labour, Tories, Lib Dems and Greens, I demand you stand down in Clacton. I will be a unity candidate and pledge to build at least one affordable house. Nigel Farage says he wants the people versus the establishment. So be it. Leave him to me. Oh, it's the banter timeline. How I've missed thee. Oh, yes. It's benevitable. Oh, Nigel versus... Like, and the beautiful thing is, like, I don't think Binface will fucking win, although it would be very, very funny if he did. Not only because that would then sort of fuck over Binface, because there's no way he can turn up to Parliament as the Binface. Like, he would have to be, I don't know, Dave Jones or whatever his fucking name is. Like, he'd have to have photo ID. He can't have a fucking bin on his head. That's ridiculous. So that would be funny. And secondly, it doesn't matter if he wins or not, because it's already funny that the two people standing are both jokes. Like, that's it. That's enough. To have Nigel Farage's only opponent be a man with a bin on his head is the perfect, like, mood music. It's the perfect thing to counterpose Nigel Farage, because one of them is a joke candidate who no one should respect, and the other one has a bin on his head. Fact. I genuinely think he could win. I don't think he will. No. Like, even with all the other parties not standing, it's a man with a bin on his head. I don't think he can win. He probably will get. He'll probably like get his fucking deposit back or some shit. Sully makes a fantastic point. The main way to defeat fascism is making them laughing stocks. So true. Which is why, of course, they always go after like cartoonists and satirists and comedians and artists first. Always. Firstly, they're sort of a softer option, to be fair, but also because they're the sort of thin end of the wedge. They're the thin end of the wedge, right? the fascists cannot establish themselves in the guise of the strongman when they're being undermined by like people taking the piss out of them. What they need is the Emperor's New Clothes situation of people all too scared to say, Mr. Hitler, you're fucking mental. Look at that tiny moustache, you jumped up little cunt. But if everyone's already saying you're a joke, you're a fool, you're an idiot, it completely undermines all of that seriousness. Hearing the Greens are standing down, just got here. What's your take? I think it's fantastic. It's essentially the. By the way, everyone go and follow Mix Vivian Wolf. On all of the platforms, she's awesome. I like it. It's essentially a kind of a non-interaction version of the cordon sanitaire. Where what Nigel Farage wants to do is make this the people versus the establishment, or him versus the establishment. But the establishment aren't going to be there. It's going to be him and Binface. A joke candidate versus a joke candidate. It's perfect. It's perfect. He wanted this to be a really serious moment. And what it'll be is the incredibly silly stunt that it always was. This is the perfect result. I didn't trust that the Tories and Labour and all the rest of them would go along with this. I expected them to try and actually run candidates and try and win. Because you've got to bear in mind, this was a Tory seat. Right? This was a Tory seat up until not that long ago. So I expected the Tories to stand because they would, in theory, have a chance of winning. Well, no, this don't get me wrong. Viv, I understand the concern you're bringing up there, but for me, literally as a serious political candidate, standing against him here is exactly what he wants. You're lending this stunt legitimacy. You're lending his whinging legitimacy by even running in the race. Now, of course, that's not the case for Count Binface, because Count Binface is actually, by running, showing what a joke this is. The memes are too perfect, right? Whereas if you're a serious political party who actually want to win elections, you shouldn't stand. That's what he wants. Don't give him what he wants. Don't play into the fascist game. If he wants to have his little tantrum and his little stunt, let him stand next to Count Binface and take the weakest W in the history of the world. He'll be made to look an absolute fool. It'll undermine his leadership even more. Superb. I also didn't expect fucking the Restore Party to stand down. Because if there was one party that I thought could, as an insurgent, take this seat, it would be Restore. So I genuinely don't understand why Restore aren't running. I respect it. And there's little else, in fact there's nothing else I respect about the fucking Restore Party. But if they're not standing as well, that's fucking mental. Love it. Okay. So Nigel Farage can spend 3 weeks in Clacton, which is the 3 weeks more than he has in the 2 years he's been fucking Member of Parliament. And everyone else can ignore him. And then he'll there will be a picture of him at the hustings taking his victory lap, stood next to Binface. Where can I get my I Support Count Binface t-shirt? I presume Binface has a website where you can buy such merch. Can we go to cheer him on? What, to the count? Yeah, you can always go to the count. It's publicly accessible. As long as there's room. Can we get 1 million people in Clacton? Jesus Christ. That would be amazing. You know what we should do, right? We should get every cool white person in the country to go to Clacton, invade the place, and just have the invasion of Clacton is all white leftists opening fucking granola shops and shit. They'd hate that more than anything, because you can't even racially abuse us. Do you know what I mean? That'd be amazing. I want to open a soy milk fucking coffee shop in Clacton. Yeah. Well, I mean, Viv, you say it shows disrespect to the people of Clacton, but the people of Clacton voted overwhelmingly for Nigel fucking Farage. Now, I say overwhelmingly, it's still the actual overall number of people who live in Clacton didn't vote for him. Like, but was it? He had a majority of like 8,000 or something. Like, he got a lot of votes. It's a very right-wing place. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean they don't deserve representation. I'm not suggesting that in the slightest. But if you vote for a cunt who clearly doesn't care about you, and then he doesn't care about you, you got what you wanted, didn't you? That's what you voted for, mate. You know, it's a little bit, you know, you voted for the party with the, you know, the slogan, I will eat your face because I am a leopard. And you can't then get annoyed when the leopard eats your face. Because it is a leopard, which promised to eat your face. And you voted for it. Just saying. Now, look, obviously once the actual race starts and all of the candidates are in, and if it is literally just Binface versus Farage, we'll get behind Binface for the memes, right? And I'll absolutely support him. I'll be 100% on the Binface train. I suppose the I don't know, the bin lorry, yeah, the bin collection lorry, right? But just to be like clear right now, he has literally no chance of winning this election. I'll just do one. I will do this one serious bit of analysis about the potential of a two-way race between Binface and Farage. Farage has enough support from the old white pricks who live in Clacton, right? He won't. He has enough support there, and like there'll probably be thousands, and I genuinely think he'll get thousands of votes, Binface, because it's a two-horse race, right? So if you're a Labour voter in that area, why not vote Binface just to stick two fingers up to Nigel Farage? But not enough. Like I think most Conservative voters who don't want to vote Farage won't vote Binface. Like he's not to be too fucking briefcase about it, but he's not serious enough. He's not a serious, sensible kind of candidate, you know. So he won't win. But having done that one serious piece of analysis, I will now start the joke with, he's definitely going to win. We are 100% behind Binface. Binface 2026. Here we fucking go. This is the first step to a Binface government. I want 650 Binfaces in Parliament by next Tuesday, otherwise I'm going to be pissed off. Let's go.
This will be.
We can call it our Bindependence Day. Fuck yes. Trademark Kevin Logan 2026.
A people versus the establishment by-election. It's a chance to stick two fingers up to the entire establishment, to
Yes, by voting for Binface. Correct, Nigel.
frankly tell them where to go. And that is why I will be putting my name forward to stand in this by-election. I will fight to win.
I'm just going to say it now, Nigel. I'm going to call for you to stand aside to leave the path clear for Binface. Okay?
I will fight to continue the political revolution that reform has started.
Yeah, the kind of revolution that billionaires back. Yeah, okay, Nigel.
I would say this to you, the voters of Clacton. If I win, you win. Because if I lose, they win, and we
Yeah, when you lose, Count Binface will win. Yes, yeah.
will never, with the two old parties, get the type of fundamental change that we need to fix broken Britain.
The only thing that will fix Britain is when Binface takes the garbage out. Fuck yes! Stop being a Binface enabler. True. There's nothing worse than when a bin bag splits open, and he's clearly splitting the vote right now. Okay? Oh, God. Farage versus Binface. Okay, Channel 4.
This isn't a legitimate by-election. It's one
Channel 4, you had me at Binface versus Farage.
that's been called in order to short-circuit parliamentary standards. Rupert Lowe not standing is the right thing. I don't think the Conservatives should stand, and Labour and the Liberal Democrats should boycott the by-election as well.
Reform gets a level of scrutiny from the media that is off the scale compared to other political parties. You know, the Financial Times recently... No, absolutely.
That's ridiculous. Tim Montgomery's such a fucking minge. What is he talking about? Nigel Farage has had the softest touch from the media for decades.
Come on. I was sitting here politely listening.
100%. He is a man who knows what he believes and cannot be bought.
What a lot of people wonder is,
He literally has been bought. He literally has been bought. What are you talking about? I mean, I'd say Nigel Farage should be in jail, but unfortunately he's free. Except he's not free. He's actually very expensive. Hey-oh.
are you a bunch of egomaniacs squabbling between yourselves for control, and that the only reason you're now against Nigel Farage is because you want to be the boss? Hello and welcome to the forecast. Nigel Farage is trying to take back control of the scandal around his finances, facing mounting questions and a parliamentary standards inquiry which could prompt a recall petition and by-election. He has preempted it all and forced one himself. He's pitching it as the people against the establishment, the chance to flick two fingers at the media and political opponents and prove he's done nothing wrong. But will it work? Will it resolve any of the questions about who gave him money, why, and why he didn't declare it? Is this a genius masterstroke by a brilliant tactician or a desperate stunt by an angry man that could backfire?
That one. It's that one.
And is it effectively an admission that the inquiry will find he broke the rules? Joining us, the former Conservative, now Reform supporting commentator Tim Montgomery, former Reform deputy leader turned Farage critic and rival Ben Habib, and from More in Common, the pollster Luke Trill. Thank you all for joining us.
Also, that's another thing I hadn't mentioned. In a two-horse race, they're going to have to do serious polling for Count Binface. What's the sample? What the fuck is the sample going to be for Count Binface? How are they going to do that? How do they balance for Binface? Genius. Oh, I fucking love it. Oh, it's been a hard swing to the bin.
Tim, I mean, he knew this was going against him. It's an admission of guilt, isn't it?
I don't think so. I don't think he's handled this affair particularly well. I think he's looked too defensive in some of the interviews that he's conducted, and he hasn't conducted enough interviews. But I think Reform gets a level of scrutiny from the media that is off the scale compared to other political parties. You know, the Financial Times recently... No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, that would be brilliant. Yeah, Plaid Cymru should stand in Clacton. You know what? Fuck it. We are in banter timeline. We are in fucking in one of the banter stands, right? That's an unfortunate phrase. We are in the banter timeline of all time. Sinn Féin. Oh my God, Sinn Féin should absolutely stand. And not just that, they should stand. They should get Jerry Adams to stand in a bin costume in Clacton. Count Binface. You're not the real Count Benfish. I'm the real Count Benfish. Oh my god. Let's fucking go. Oh. Should I stand as Count Binface? And start like a fucking two-way thing where there's like a split personality Count Binface candidacy? Oh, this is going to be too fucking good. I love it. I love every bit of this.
I was sitting.
Change UK. Yeah, Change UK should reband. Get the band back together. Get the cocks back together. Get fucking Chuckaramuna to stand. Who would be the biggest joke out of them? Chuckaramuna, Nigel Farage, or Count Binface? I mean, they're all ridiculous joke candidates, and I'm up for it. Let's go.
You're politely listening.
100%. I've just criticised Nigel Farage. I don't take the party line. But you know, the FT recently led with a reform councillor in Kent resigning. Look, that's the nature of it. We have to face up to it. Reform is an insurgent party. I get why there may be good reasons why we need to be tested more. But reform threatens both the Conservative Party and the Labour Party. A parliamentary process where ultimately Labour and Conservative MPs decide whether Nigel Farage gets suspended or not is not going to be fair. Much fairer to go. Hang on, just 1 second. Much fairer to go to the voters of Clacton. We're in a democracy. Let voters decide.
Well, except they don't know. They don't know the truth, do they?
Well,
the commissioner hasn't ruled. There hasn't been an inquiry. He hasn't had the chance to answer or ask any questions. Well, what are they going to be voting?
Oh, George Galloway should absolutely stand. Yeah, because he's a nutter. Again, and get all of the joke candidates in. Fuck yes. Throbbing. He'll get a throbbing majority. Fuck yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. And you know what? To not split the joke vote, the Monster Raving Loony Party need to stand down. Okay? You don't want to split the vote. Or every single joke vote should go to Count Binface. He was first off the blocks. You don't want to be splitters. Okay? Like the fucking People's Front of Judea. Splitters.
On Nigel Farage's version of the truth.
Well, I thought you conducted a journalism exercise. You examining Nigel Farage all the time. The idea that the voters of Clacton do not have a lot of information with which to judge whether Nigel Farage should continue as their MP or not, that's for the birds. They have plenty of information.
So you don't resign if you're innocent. You resign when you're guilty. As it happens,
yep.
I'm not suggesting that he is found that he is guilty. There's a process that has to be gone through. But if you feel you're going to be found guilty, that's when it becomes politically expedient to resign. And what he's done here, which you've alluded to very cleverly, is forestall the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner's ruling and take it back to the people, casting himself as David versus Goliath. But actually, that's not what's happening here. We're not talking about the establishment picking up on, free sunglasses, for example, which used to exercise Nigel Farage when he was commenting on Keir Starmer. We're talking about, fundamentally, a £5 million gift, which was made only a couple of months before the general election in 2024, which by any sensible man's yardstick should have been declared on the register because of the 12-month prior rule that Parliament has.
Why would Ed Balls run? He's about to be made a fucking member of the House of Lords by the incoming not corrupt oligarchy. Not oligarchy, what's the word I'm looking for? Technocrat or whatever? Prime Minister. So, Lord Balls. Lord Balls.
It's so obvious what's happening here that he's stepping round the very necessary scrutiny over 5 million quid.
If it's so obvious, then let the voters of Clacton decide.
No.
Oh yeah, the wise judges of Clacton.
They will agree with you if it's so obvious.
So I'll come to that in a second, if I may. But the 5 million quid wasn't from a mate. It was from someone who donated £14 million to the Brexit Party and who since has donated £15 million to Reform. This man is a political donor. And the notion that the £5 million carried no influence with it is one that I'm afraid doesn't wash with any sentient being. Of course, there must be some influence with £5 million. If he liked Farage as a friend, if he was grateful to Farage for what Farage has done, you might give him a bottle of champagne, maybe a case of champagne, but you don't hand over £5 million, and that is the scrutiny which Farage is sidestepping.
So even that you can tell he's a rich bloke. Look, if I really like someone, I might buy him a pint. A fucking case of champagne. Jesus Christ. We live in different worlds, you and me, Mr. Habib. Just saying. Fucking hell.
Tim?
Look, about a year or so ago, Elon Musk was basically trying to buy reform. He wanted Nigel Farage to agree to a whole series of very right-wing views. When Nigel Farage didn't, Elon Musk backed people like Ben
This is wrong.
Rupert Lowe.
Tim, this is just factually incorrect.
Well, I only interrupted you once. You've interrupted me every time I've started to start
But
to
that's
make a point. No,
factually
again
incorrect.
and again, there are people like Tommy Robinson that Nigel Farage stands up to. He is not a man that can be bought. His policies, whether it's on Europe or immigration or welfare reform, have been long-standing.
There are two slightly different points there, aren't there? I mean, that's true. It's absolutely true that Nigel Farage has rejected the far right, has rejected Tommy Robinson, has rejected...
Well, I mean, he hasn't rejected them. He's just not overtly taken their money that we're aware of at time of recording. But like, he says the exact same shit that Tommy Robinson does. He literally, the first lot of race riots he started was because he was peddling lies told about about the Southport stabbings, right? Murders, you know, that was spread by a man who is at the time was under house arrest in Romania for child sex trafficking. He was repeating Andrew Tate's lies, which then sparked race riots. So I'm not entirely sure how he has rejected the far right exactly there. That's so true, Eric. He is the golf club version of Tel Aviv Tomo. Yeah. Old turkey teeth Tomo.
Elon Musk, and Ben, we'll talk a little bit about that, because you have backed...
He gets very little credit
or
for
shared
it. Very little
platforms
credit for it.
with Tommy Robinson, but that's a separate question to
No,
the
very
5 million.
Yeah. No one talks about all the corrupt money he didn't take. They only ever want to talk about the corrupt money he did take. What a strong defence, Mr. Montgomery. I see no holes in that argument whatsoever.
It's about whether he could be
why
bought,
he accepted
whether he
it,
could be influenced.
and whether he can be influenced by...
I've
Can't
given
be
you-
influenced by 5 million...
As a friend, here's £1 for an encased pack of knickknacks.
Fuck yes. That is a working class solidarity show of love. And you know what? I'll go full nice and spicy, or maybe even ribbon saucy, just for you, comrade.
Pounds. That's the question. I mean, the question around the 5 million is, would Nigel Farage have decided he was going to stand for Parliament if he hadn't been given 5 million quid's worth of financial security? Those are the questions we don't know the answers to going into this new by-election.
I began by saying I don't think he's handled this affair particularly well. He does need to acknowledge that this isn't a box of chocolates or a bottle of
do you
champagne.
think
It's a very substantial gift.
Do you think it influenced his decision to go back
No,
into Parliament?
I've tried to already...
Like, how is it even remotely legal to just give someone 5 million quid anyway? Like, because what's to stop you just doing money laundering that way? Let's say you've got 5 million quid's worth of dirty money, you just give it to someone else, it's clean now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be legal to just give someone for, like, if you're trading something, if you're paying £5 million for £5 million worth of goods and or services, fine. But just give someone 5 million quid. There is no legitimate reason to be doing that. Really. Inheritance maybe, but that's because someone's fucking dead. Like, A living person giving 5 million quid's worth of 5 million quid of money to another person is just ridiculous. Can you think of a single reasonable excuse for why someone would do that? Exactly, the Cottrell guy literally got done for money laundering, yeah. Like, there is no, for me, morally justifiable reason to just give someone 5 million quid. Plus, if you're the kind of person who can afford to give 5 million quid, it means you are a money-grubbing piece of shit who has lots more than 5 million quid. And you don't get lots more than 5 million quid by just giving people 5 million fucking quid, do you? You can't earn £1 million morally. Not really. Winning the lottery, maybe, I guess. Yeah, okay, fine. But, like, you can't earn £1 million without fucking someone else over. Fucking lots of people over. So you certainly can't earn, let's say, 100 million doing so either. And you'd have to have about 100 million to be able to give £5 million away and it not mean that much to you. And this guy was a billionaire. And you don't become a billionaire by giving away £5 million for nothing. It's just ridiculous. The idea that there was no strings attached. What the fuck are you talking about? I wouldn't give someone a tenner no strings attached. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, maybe like a homeless person, but you know what I mean. Like, I wouldn't... A gift. A fucking gift of £5 million. What the fuck world do you live in? That is true. I will build a death laser if you give me £10,000 a month on Patreon. Or you can just give me like £1 and I'll spend it on food. These are things. What about artists? Okay, maybe there are exceptions. But like, I'm thinking of like business people rather than like artists, or maybe a footballer or something. I don't know. Like, if you're in industry and you earn £1 million, it's because you fucked over your workers. That fucking excess value has to come from somewhere, and it's not your hard work that got you there, you know. Hey, thank you, Antifa Vegan Boy. No, sorry, different one. No, it is. Oh, sorry, I was looking at that wig. Yeah, it is Antifa Vegan Boy. I was like, who's Anti-Fave Egan Boy? Who's that? But that's a different thing. I am a boob. I don't know how much more of this I'm going to watch, but I do like right-wing infighting. Because we're so used to left-wing infighting, let's have the rightoids ripping each other to fucking pieces for once. There's a flag we can all salute.
That's why I mentioned Robinson and Elon Musk and his long-standing issues, because he is a man who knows what he believes and cannot be bought.
Lol.
I don't mean on an issue, I mean on the decision to go into Parliament. Do you think it influenced his decision to go into Parliament, knowing that he now had this £5 million nest egg in his bank account?
Well, what influences Nigel Farage?
Is there a Binface segment? Does he interview Binface? I don't... Do they have timestamps? Obviously not. Fucking boomers. Is there a Binface segment? I can't see Binface anywhere.
All of the time is that he gets up every day knowing it could be his last day. The security threats to him are enormous. I think if he lives another 20 years, the security bill he will face...
Separate question.
No, it isn't. The security bill he will face is probably about £10 million. You're presenting it as like a political gift. It's a gift to help him afford his own security.
But as Ben says, it was a gift by a political donor in the year before he became an MP, while he was the owner of Reform and the honorary president. The idea that Nigel Farage was not a politician in some form.
So that's a very important point.
He took this money. It's nonsense.
May I just develop that point? Because he's repeatedly said in the last few days that he wasn't politically active. Nigel Farage has been politically active non-stop since 2019 as majority shareholder and director of Reform UK. Every single thing he's done with that in the background.
I love because this happens with Trump as well, right? They like Farage and Trump are different in some respects, but they're quite similar as well. Trump pisses everyone he works up with off, right? He pisses them off and makes them enemies. Trump doesn't have like long-standing friendships, except of course with Jeffrey Epstein until he became inconvenient and then he had him murdered in a prison cell. But the point being, anyone who's known Donald Trump a long time hates him because he's scum, right? He's a terrible person who just uses and abuses people for his own benefit. And so you have people like, I mean, my favourite is the Mooch, Steve Scaramucci, who was very briefly his press secretary, if you remember that far back into his first term, who worked with him, and then instantly, as soon as he got sacked, became like the biggest anti-Trump guy ever, and now pretends to be like a woke person, because he thinks the grift is now to be anti-Trump and all that shit, right? And there are loads of those kind of people. And Farage has done the same sort of thing. He pisses everyone off that he works with, and no one likes him. And so, like, he has Rupert Lowe, a former Reform Member of Parliament, who now hates his fucking guts. And he's got Ben Habib, the former chairman of his political party, who absolutely despises him. And has now, like, dedicated his entire life to Nigel Farage is a piece of shit. Fuck this guy. I'm going to absolutely destroy him if it's the last thing I do. And I love it. Oh, it's beautiful.
Ground. And so if you are donating 5 million quid to the controller of Reform UK, the idea that that won't have some bearing on Reform UK, as I say, doesn't pass muster with any sentient being. And that is the heart of the issue here. And it's not just a parliamentary standards thing either. This is an electoral commission thing, because the electoral commission has Nigel Farage, as it does all members of a political party, down as a regulated donee. He should have declared every single donation as a political activity between 2019 and 2024. There's not a single declaration to the Electoral Commission. Not a single declaration.
Let me bring in Luke Trill now.
I'd like to respond to some of those points.
Well,
really.
okay, respond to that first,
Look,
and then I'll bring in...
I am conceding one very substantial point. It needs to be transparent. That was a mistake.
Yeah, no shit. No fucking shit, mate. Jesus. Thank you, Marshasaurus, for subscribing. A brand new subscriber with Prime. God bless you. Here on the Kevin Logan channel, I will suck any part of anyone's body if they give me money. I am the cheapest hoe. I am a certified freak. 2 days a week. Mondays and Thursdays. My office hours are between 9 AM and 4 PM. Book in advance to avoid disappointment.
Why I think the by-election is the right way of resolving this is Ben makes his points, the case against Nigel. You know, he doesn't ever have a good word to say about Nigel anymore. It's ridiculous. He will...
I mean, that's sort of what I just said. Yeah. Yeah. He is basically the fuck Nigel Farage guy. And I'm here for it. Honestly, slay.
Never find any good in Nigel. Other people in Parliament won't. Let the voters of Clapton listen to people like Ben, listen to people like me, and weigh it up. They have to decide whether Nigel Farage is the sort of person, as you imply, Chris, who can be bought, who'll be influenced, or actually...
No, I'm not implying he can be bought.
I'm not implying it, I'm outright saying it. Not only can he be bought, he has been bought. Fucking hell, you could get him to endorse terrorist groups for 70 quid on Cameo. Like, you don't even need to give him millions. You can get him to say racial slurs. I mean, to be fair, you can probably just get him to say racial slurs after a couple of pints. But you can get him to say racial slurs on fucking on Cameo for a few quid, and talk about how he makes the bussy clap and Big Chungus and playing Mo Lester. You know.
What I'm saying is it reasonable to think that if you've been given £5 million, that might influence your decision to go into Parliament or not, wherein, you know, at a time when Nigel Farage was saying he was skint and, you know...
Insofar as it afforded the security that enabled
exactly.
him, maybe that, but I don't think the voters of Clapton will have any objection
Now we
to
talk
that.
about the...
No, to be fair, Who asked the question? Sorry. Comrie says, like, I feel bad for asking this, but do you think Reform hired this guy so it's hard to call those who support Reform / Nigel their policies as mentally deficient or handicapped? To be fair, I don't think he actually works for the Reform Party. He is a Reform Party member, but this is he goes back a long way. Tim Montgomery was the former he's a former Tory, like basically every Reform member, and was he started a thing called Conservative Home, which was a very influential like online Tory blog. He was like a kind of thought leader in conservative circles for years and years and years. So like I don't think that they've even hired him, in all honesty. It wouldn't put it past them to do something as Machiavellian and disgusting as that, but I don't think that is the case in this particular instant. Also, I actually don't know what he has like wrong with him, but he never used to have this problem, so it's clearly like a relatively recent medical development, whatever it is.
The competition that's coming, Restore, while we've been speaking, Rupert Lowe's...
No, not Conservative Hose, although they are available for relatively cheap, as previously discussed. But Conservative Home. And not Conservative Homo, because they don't like the gays.
Lot, who are sort of the splinter group, and then sort of allied with you in a way, Ben.
I'd love to go back on the leftist mafia and explain Count Binface to them. That'd be amazing. Love it.
Have said that they are not going to stand.
Especially now, because during the World Cup, I'm on full degenerate hours. Like, I'm not going to bed till like 6 a.m. most days, so it's, yeah, perfect.
In this election.
For how weak.
Which is a very interesting move. Now, Luke, tell us about what has been happening over the last few weeks.
I wouldn't put him in the same camp as Alexander Dugin, but I guess a conservative Dugin rather than a fascist one, maybe.
Of this controversy swirling to Reform's polling numbers, because they're still...
You should poke Lance. I said I'd go on his show. I didn't say I'd fuck him. I mean, I would fuck him, but like, I meant just like talk on about politics and that.
Still out front, aren't they?
They are. So, I mean, Reform have led in the opinion polls now for well over a year. They're not, I should say, as high as they have been. So if you look at last summer and early autumn, they were bumping into the low 30s. They now tend to be in the sort of high 20s across polling, but the gap has definitely narrowed, but they remain ahead of the other political parties. There is some hypothetical polling when you put Andy Burnham in as Labour leader, where it looks like Labour might nudge ahead of Reform, but only just, and that is, of course, only hypothetical polling. But at the moment, at least, you know, Reform remain the front runners. They remain ahead, even if their lead is slightly narrower than it has been.
But what data do you have on what the general public have made of all these questions around the donations? Not just the 5 million, but the new one around George Cottrell and the support he was giving Nigel Farage before the election as well.
So when you ask people the extent to which the 5 million, if we focus on that, affects people's view, and particularly whether it negatively impacts their view of Nigel Farage, around 57% say that it has a negative impact, whereas around a third say it doesn't really affect their view of him at all. It's worth saying that number.
And as always, it'll probably be like 6% say it actually increases their love for him, or whatever, because there's always some mad cunts in these polls. Who I can only imagine some of those must be shit posters or something, right? But anyway, can we get to the bin face bit? Let's go. I want to see bin face.
In order to short circuit parliamentary standards. That's why it's been called.
As Margaret Thatcher would say, Fritz, you're Fritz.
And Rupert Lowe, I don't know whatever Frit means. Rupert Lowe not standing is the right thing. I don't think the Conservatives should stand.
I've never heard the phrase Fritz outside of the context of a slightly xenophobic way of describing Germans? What the fuck is that? Okay. Did he just do a racism, or have I totally misunderstood that? I don't get that at all. Oh, there have to be hustings with Farage and Binface. I just hope that whoever milkshakes Farage, they don't accidentally splash any on Binface, because he doesn't deserve that. He's a noble... He is a noble servant of British democracy.
And Labour and the Liberal Democrats should boycott the by-election as well.
I mean, isn't the bigger point, Tim, that what Ben raises is that, assuming he comes back, he hasn't resolved anything. The investigations start again. Other investigations may carry on. And he will say, well, this is just the establishment coming after reform. You've been around politics long enough, not to believe that all of these institutions are just corrupt and rigged and all the rest of it. There are real, people of integrity in all of these institutions, and rules are there to be obeyed on.
Look, I have been around a long time. I was there with Ian Duncan Smith with the parliamentary inquiry into his...
Yeah, you did work with him, yes. You piece of absolute trash.
Wife's service as his secretary. And I saw it with the Boris investigation into Partygate. I saw it with Owen Paterson. I know these investigations, and you're right, there are good people involved, but they're not judicial processes. Owen Paterson, for example, couldn't put witnesses forward. There is just one judge who makes the decision. There isn't a prosecution and a defence, and then MPs decide. So it is a process with some authority, but it is not a court of law, and it doesn't have the court of law standards. So ultimately, these are...
Yeah, I don't care.
Political judgments as to whether you accept the outcome of these processes. They aren't legal in that traditional sense. And that is why I think asking voters to make the ultimate decision is the right way of going about this.
Are you comfortable with sort of undermining all our British institutions?
No, because
by saying, well, if it's not criminal, no one's saying it's criminal. It's about whether it's...
I'm saying it might be criminal.
Right and proper and decent and in the spirit of democracy.
Well, I think it would be good for Channel 4 News to investigate this, because there are some real deficits in these processes. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying that these processes can be fishing expeditions. I mean, they start with one problem and then they look at other things. And I know...
Okay, but if he's done lots of corrupt things, then we should expose all of those corrupt things. Jesus Christ, Tim Montgomery is an idiot.
There are certain newspapers, almost on a weekly basis, Reform MPs and leaders are getting extraordinarily rubbish accusations that are never published. One week after another, there is an awful lot of journalistic investigation into reform, and a lot of it is politically motivated.
Can I just ask, before this raised its head, there were 17 failures to disclose registrable interest by Nigel Farage, adding up to £384,000. This is not a one-off instance. This is a litany of a failure to abide by the code of conduct of Parliament. And Parliament is a democratic body. It's not just an institution. It is the representative institution of our democracy. So to say that, it's the establishment against me is basically to attack the very heart of British democracy. And just one more thing, if I may. On the Parliamentary Standards Committee, there are 7 MPs, but there are also 7 lay people. And they're not party political, and they contribute to the...
I've laid 7 people as well. Oh, what a boast.
Process. So even though it's not judicial, it's quite an extent.
He does sound a bit like Tony Blair, and it's quite annoying. He's also quite right-wing, like Tony Blair.
Detailed
and politically irrelevant, unlike Tony Blair.
So, are you surprised by this behaviour of Nigel Farage?
I'm not surprised. I mean, if you go back and you look at Nigel Farage's history as a European member of the European Parliament, there were multiple probes into his financial probity, and even as recently, before this thing blew up, he said he'd bought that house in Clacton. Then it transpired that actually it was his partner who'd bought the house in Clacton. And questions are still about how she could afford it. given her
And also, he'd have had to go to Clacton to buy the house. So that definitely wasn't true, was it?
her background and so on. There's a lot of weirdness that's around the finances of this individual, and it's a problem.
No, I agree with Ben Habib here, absolutely. There are lots of weird things, but all of this weirdness was there when you were in his party. Why are you only now mentioning it, now that you're like a jilted bunny boiler ex-lover who can't stand the fact that you've been stood up? Because you're a bad bitch and you deserve better than this. And so you're going to fucking destroy this man. Like, all of this was true when you were the chairman of his fucking party, mate. Come on now.
Problem for reform. It's not the establishment creating these problems. These are. He said that I bought that house in Clacton. Then suddenly it was his partner.
The idea that
Which bit's
Nigel
untrue?
Farage is only interested in making money. This man has been involved in politics for a quarter of a century. He's taken up cause after cause, which, like Brexit, was very unpopular at the beginning. He takes causes and he transforms public opinion. This is
Yeah, in bad ways, in terrible, awful ways.
a man with deep beliefs who faces enormous security threats by staying involved in politics. He's a man that's probably made more difference in politics than people who've been prime minister.
So, sorry, you're saying
to slur him as just interested in making money is just rubbish.
That's what he told me at supper.
Well, it's just not true, is it?
Well, it's true. It is true.
He told you himself at supper.
Yeah, I said, look, this was in August 2020, and I said, Nigel, Rupert Lowe, Robert Rowland, and I took Nigel Farage out for supper at my expense, quite a salubrious supper. And I asked him, we all three of us.
Gotta flex. You gotta flex.
Asked him, please get back into campaigning mode. We need you to hold Boris Johnson's feet to the fire because the trade agreement he's negotiating with the EU is not a good one. And he turned round to me and he said, Ben, it's fine for you. You were born with a silver spoon up your backside. But I've been in politics for 20...
Unlike Nigel Farage, who went to a posh private school. Because his parents were very rich.
odd years, and I need to make money. At that point, I concluded this man's not interested in politics.
So why did you stay in his political party and serve as the chairman of that party until 2024, Mr. Habib? If he told you this in 2020 and you didn't step down until 2024, clearly not a problem. Clearly you didn't see it as a problem until he kicked you out of the party. Is there a bin face bit?
Whether it's the Financial Conduct Authority, HMRC, the parliamentary standards, are all of those things equally suspicious?
Well, look, it is definitely fair to say that trust in lots of institutions beyond politics has eroded in recent years, and things like judicial systems, interestingly, have become more polarised. It tends to be that more socially liberal members of the public tend to back the judiciary more than more socially conservative members. But, and I think this is really important in this case, when you pitch one of those institutions against a politician, those institutions come out on top. So people are more likely to trust HMRC, the Financial Conduct Authority, than they are any politician. And that will include someone like Nigel Farage. And I think it's quite dangerous, again, politically, to go to war against them. It's not the same as, criticising fellow politicians or even criticising something like the civil service, because people will say, well, hang on a minute, they're holding you to account. I do tend to trust them over you because you're a politician and I don't trust politicians.
So the people versus the establishment may not work.
No, I think it may not. If the establishment is saying you are kind of bang to rights on, this issue, so if it's HMRC saying you haven't done that, if it's the FCA saying you haven't done that, if you look at the other case, look at Angela Rayner's tax affairs, there is no way that Angela Rayner could have run an anti-HMRC campaign and come out on top. Similarly, I don't think Farage would be able to against a body like HMRC. That is very different, though, to fellow politicians in Parliament.
Can we talk about George Cottrell now? Because this is the latest story that the Sunday Times have revealed.
Oh, well, we already did this on Turn Left. I want to talk about Binface.
We all make mistakes, and Ben is also right. There's been too many mistakes by Nigel Farage on reporting. There's understandable. He's busy. He's building a party from scratch.
He's busy. Oh, that's okay then. Oh, never mind. He's busy. Fucking hell. That, I mean, there's weak sauce, and then there's whatever the fuck this shite is. I hope the Count reveals a Mrs. Binface who bought a house in Clacton for him. Well, I do hope Count Binface brings his A game in terms of memes, because there's a lot to work with, and we could be talking generational banter.
The lesson to be learned from this, and this is my big question about Nigel Farage, is lots of things are not happening in reform that need to be happening in reform. On seat and candidate selection, on reporting, on regular structural meetings with his colleagues, the kind of thing.
Trips to Switzerland, that sort of thing, you know.
A grown-up political party does, and a man who really wants to be Prime Minister does. And for me, this by-election is a distraction from that. Nigel Farage needs to get a lot more serious when hopefully he wins the by-election, because if reform is going to be the government that people...
He's not going to. It's going to be Count Binface, and he's going to become Prime Minister. When inevitably Andy Burnham breaks all of his promises, Binface will be there to pick up the pieces and put them into a bin of some variety, because Britain is done.
People trust after what I think will be a Tory failure in government and then a Labour failure in government. We will have the tyres kicked like no other political party, and we're not ready for that process yet. And I hope we've got a full 3 years of the Parliament to be ready, and Nigel needs to get much more serious about all of that.
Ben, we've already established that Restore aren't fighting, but can we just talk about the splintering of the right and the threat it poses to any ambitions of reform to form the next government? I mean, you know, what a lot of people wonder is, you know, are you a bunch of egomaniacs squabbling between yourselves?
Yes, that is, yes.
10 out of the 10 seats that they stood in the local elections in the Great Yarmouth area, they got 7% off the, straight off the blocks in Makerfield. These are significant results.
Okay, these fuckers are not going to talk about Binface at all, are they? Has he put anything out today? No, there's just something from 6 days ago. Has he said anything? Count Binface becoming an MP would really be the most surreal possible ending of the story of Reform UK. That's one poster sorted. That's... Okay. Okay. Look, he might not be the hero we necessarily wanted, but he's the hero that we needed. Okay? That's the money shot. That's the money shot right there. Yeah, I got debated into watching a Channel 4 but that had nothing to do with Binface. Anyway. Oh, I am fucking so... I've just taken my earphones off and literally the behind my ears is dripping with sweat. Oh, that's so gross. I'm going to go and shower. Okay. The fuck? Did you hear that? There's like a fucking big ass lorry outside. What? Apparently I live in a GTA game now. Right, where am I? Right, I'm going to bed. You need to all leave me alone for the next 20 or so hours. Oh, sweaty spaghetti. Thank you everyone for all of your support. It means the world to me. Rory Cat still doesn't care, even from beyond the grave, but I do, okay? Bin lorry in Birmingham, are you mental? We've given up on the concept of bins now. The rats just eat the rubbish for us. That's how that works. Still have to pay through the nose for council tax, though, obviously. It'd be silly if you didn't. Okay, I'm going to leave and go and shower because I feel a bit gross. No justice of the motherfucking something. Taylor Green is live, so I'll send you over there on YouTube's. They don't really do Twitch anymore, so I'll send you somewhere else. Who is going? Let's have a look. Let's have a gander at who is going on the Twitches. Hannah Reloaded is going, so I will send you over there. They're good beans. Sorry I didn't get to any reaction to, more of the reaction to the Platinum stuff. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Although it would be, it's Keith's last Prime Minister's question, so we're going to have to take a look at that, I think. But anyway, until then, stay beautiful, and of course, as always, free Palestine. No pass around.
YouTuber girl. Guess what? I'm not in my bedroom on my laptop.